Well, it is another blow to the federal government and especially to Angela Merkel, I would say. And what is interesting is that the CDU, Angela Merkel's party, for so many years was super loyal. Even during the height of the refugee crisis, they stood behind her. And this is sort of changing now because you hear more and more voices coming out of the CDU, even publicly saying that there needs to be a change. We need to have a renewal of the party, and that also includes Angela Merkel. If you look at what German voters are saying, this is more or less the same. This election here in that tiny federal state of Hesse was more or less decided by the performance of the Berlin government. 50% of those voters have said that they have voted against the big parties, against the SPD and the CDU, because of Berlin, because of the Grand Coalition. And it's a clear message. Either you get your act together or you have to leave, more or less. But it's not that easy in German politics. Coming back to here, to Wiesbaden, we yesterday did a bit of party hopping between all these election parties. And let's start with the CDU. I caught up with a member of parliament on the federal level there at their party, Klaus-Peter Wilsch, and asked him what he makes with that result. What is the implication for Berlin? Take a listen.
You look at that, we have a so-called big coalition, which is no longer a big coalition on the federal level, formed by CDU and SP Social Democrats, and both lose 10 persons. This is a true hint that this is not a state policy, but a federal policy problem that we are facing. And as everyone could see, we were not good performing. Our government was really, having very hard problems to get into work. And so I hope that we have a new start. We already did it in the parliamentary group where Ralf Brinkhaus took over, and he is very often talking about having more people involved in the decisions, using all the potentials we have in our parliamentary group and all that. And we really are a good party, but we have to show people that what we really stand for, what we would do if we could govern on our own. But always only talking about those accords with the Social Democrats where they want a bit and we want a bit and nobody's really happy with it.
Well, the situation for the CDU is serious. The situation for the SPD is so-called life-threatening. They fell to a record low. And Andrea Nahles, the head of the party in Berlin yesterday, was saying they really have to look into whether the Grand Coalition will make sense also going forward for them. I caught up with the General Secretary here in the state of Hessen yesterday at their party. Take a listen.
It's a very bad result, and therefore we need to figure out how we can regain credibility and the trust of the citizens, above all in Berlin. We have seen that the issues in Berlin have overshadowed our campaign tremendously. We have 3 very good policies: affordable housing, education and mobility. These were really in the interest of the population. We know that from all the opinion polls. We also know people think we are very competent in these areas.
So the biggest winner here in Wiesbaden, next to the AfD, the Populist Party, were the Greens. And that is a national trend. The Greens seem to be the new party in the center. They always had a very affluent voter potential, but now they're like pro-European stance, modern stance, is attracting more and more people. We also caught up with the head of the Greens here in Hessen. Take a listen of what he says are the implications on Berlin.
The election in Bavaria first, and now the election in Hesse showed that the people don't like the style this Grand Coalition works, so that they discuss every day, and the style of their discussion is also very bad. So that's what I meant, that they should look at Hessen and the secret of our success here.
So it's not the end of the Grand Coalition in Berlin with that election, but what is fair to say is that this Grand Coalition is clearly weakened, and it's another big blow to them. And whether the government will stay together for another 3 years, a lot of people don't believe that. So we clearly have political risk here in Germany, but we're nowhere near that this could spell a serious crisis, because our constitution foresees various scenarios how to cope with such a situation. But for now, it's not getting anywhere nicer in Berlin for both big parties, for Angela Merkel and also for Andrea Nahles. Back to you guys.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.